Hello everyone! Today I'll be reading The Tiara Club, Princess Katie and the Silver Pony. This is the second book of the Princess Academy series. I'll be reading chapter 1 and 2 in this book, and if you'd like to see the rest of the book, please do look out for my future videos. Thank you, and now let's begin. How do you do? It's lovely to meet you. We are all so glad you're here. Oh, I'm so silly. Maybe you don't know who we are? We are the Princess Katie. That's me, Charlotte, Emily, Alice, Daisy, and Sophia. And we share the Rose Room dormitory at the Princess Academy, and one day we'll all be members of the totally fabulous Tiara Club. Just as long as we get enough Tiara points, of course. Do you ever feel really tired after a party? Well, we had a wonderful birthday ball here at the Academy, but for the next few days, it was so hard to get up. Chapter 1. I couldn't believe it. The alarm bell was ringing and ringing. I put my pillow over my head and shut my eyes tightly. Whoomp! The pillow was snatched away, and there was Princess Alice grinning at me. It's no good, she said cheerfully. Fairy G's been in twice now, and if we don't get down to breakfast in 10 minutes, we'll all get minus Tiara points. And none of us will ever be members of the Tiara Club. I'm tired, I moaned. Cheer up! Princess Sophia plonked herself down on my bed. It's Friday today, so tomorrow's Saturday. And that's the Royal Parade! Charlotte and Emily shouted together. And Daisy threw her pillow in the air and cheered. And we'll all be wearing our best dresses, she crowed. I groaned and crawled out of bed. 8 minutes, Alice warned me. Do hurry up, Katie. We simply can't have Rose Room beaten by Princess Perfetta and her creepy crew. That did make me hurry. In fact, I totally zoomed into my clothes. Princess Perfetta always likes to be best at everything, and she's a terrible show-off. She was here last year, so she should be a senior and a member of the Tiara Club, but she didn't get enough Tiara points. So she's back in year 1 with us, and that's made her as mean as a snake. At least, that's what Alice's big sister told Alice. As soon as I was dressed, we rushed out of the dormitory and down the winding stairs. We were halfway down when Alice stopped so suddenly we almost fell on top of her. Look! She gasped, and she pointed out of the tower window. We looked, and we gasped too. The most beautiful coach any of us had ever seen was standing by the front steps of the Academy. It was shaped like a wonderful pearly seashell, and it was sparkling all over in the sunshine. The seats were covered in softly gleaming white satin cushions, and snow-white furry rugs were heaped everywhere. 6 piebald ponies, harnessed with silver bridles and silver layings, were in between the shafts, and tiny silver bells tinkled every time they shook their heads. It's magic! I breathed, and we gazed at it in absolute raptures until Sophia said, Oh no! Look at the time! We scraped into breakfast by a whisker. The dining hall is very long, with portraits of amazingly grand and gracious princesses all along the walls. Our teachers sit at the far end on golden thrones, but we sit on benches at long wooden tables, and we actually eat off china plates. Sophia was so shocked when she first arrived. She absolutely never eaten off anything except gold. But Charlotte pointed out the food would taste the same, so she didn't make a fuss. Because we were so late, we had to sit on the end table, and there were Perfetta and Florine. Oh, goodness me, Perfetta sneered, looking at Emily and Daisy's bird's nest hair. I can see what kind of wish you'll be making this morning. You'll be wishing for a hairbrush. And she and Florine fell about as if she'd made the best joke ever. Ignore her, Sophia hissed under her breath, but Emily was looking at Perfetta with wide eyes. What do you mean? She asked. What wish? What? Perfetta threw up her hands as if Emily had asked her something really stupid. You mean you don't know? She sneered loudly. It's wish class this morning. She turned to Florine as they got up from the table. Don't you think it's quite extraordinary that Queen Gloriana let such silly princesses through the door? Chapter 2. Just as I was finishing my breakfast, Queen Gloriana came sailing into the dining hall. She's our headmistress, and she's wonderfully tall and graceful. She's also a little bit scary because she expects us to be perfect princesses. And sometimes that can be very hard work. I was pleased to see Fairy G stomping in behind her. Fairy G's much more fun. She's the school's fairy godmother, and she keeps an eye on all of us. Good morning, my dear young princesses, Queen Gloriana said, and paused while we made our curtsies. I didn't do too badly, but Charlotte wobbled badly and clutched at the table. A butter dish crashed onto the floor, and of course, everybody turned and stared. Charlotte blushed bright red, and Perfetta and Florrie sniggered. Queen Gloriana went on speaking as if nothing had happened. As you know, princesses, tomorrow is the royal parade, and this year there will be something a little special. Our good friend King Constantine of Forever and Faraway has been kind enough to present the school with a very beautiful coach. I have decided that the princess who has the most tiara points by the end of today will ride in the seashell coach and lead the parade. Immediately, there was a burst of whispering. Imagine riding in that gorgeous coach. Tap, tap. Fairy G tapped a chair. Time for all first years to go to wish class. Follow me. Wow! Alice whispered in my ear. Do you think we can wish for anything we want? Her eyes were dancing, and I began to feel excited as I followed Sophia and Emily out into the long black and white marble corridor that led to the classrooms. Daisy and Charlotte were right behind, and so were Perfetta and Florine. I know someone who needs to wish she can curtsy properly, Florine said spitefully as we hurried after Fairy G. The classroom wasn't at all grand, except for a beautiful sparkly chandelier that glittered in the light. The 4 tables were just plain wood, and the chairs weren't covered in satin or anything like that, although they did have soft red velvet cushions. Charlotte, Sophia, Emily, Daisy, Alice and I managed to get a table to ourselves. I couldn't help grinning when I saw the other princesses trying to avoid having Perfetta and Florine sit with them. Now, listen carefully. Fairy G boomed at us. She's very big, and her voice is really loud. You will each have one wish, and one only. Think hard, and then write it down. Remember, once it's written down, it can be changed. She fished in her pocket, brought out a huge alarm clock, and banged it down on her desk. You have 5 minutes. Begin! At once, we could hear murmurings from the other tables. Princess Freya called out, Please, Fairy G, are we meant to be thinking of something princessy? Or can we wish for whatever we want? Fairy G smiled a mysterious sort of smile. That's for me to know and you to find out, she said. Oh, Princess Freya looked puzzled. So, can I wish for a kitten? Fairy G didn't answer. Princess Perfetta snorted loudly. Really? She sniffed. Fancy wanting a kitten. That's right, Florine agreed. Some princesses are so babyish. I don't see anything wrong with wanting a kitten, I said loudly. I was fed up with Perfetta. I'd like... My mind whirled, and I thought of the seashell coach. A pony. I had a sudden idea. The piebald ponies pulling the coach had been pretty. but somehow not quite right, and I knew what would be exactly perfect. A silver pony! Ooh! Beside me, Emily's eyes lit up. That's brilliant, Kitty, said Charlotte. Wouldn't it be sweet? Sighed Sophia and Daisy. Just imagine, Alice said. A silver pony. We could feed it sugar lumps. Well, I said slowly, I was more thinking of... Time's up! boomed Fairy G. I'm coming round to collect your wishes now. We looked at each other. So shall we? Charlotte whispered. Shall we wish for a silver pony, one each? Yes, I said, much too loudly. I saw Perfetta glare at me. 6 silver ponies to pull the seashell coach. They'd be gorgeous. And we all scribbled madly as Fairy G stamped up to our table.